to medium-sized company, and then there's concepts that can work for some bigger companies too, but it's the small to medium-sized businesses that when you take data and you look at it across multiple different clients and across multiple businesses that you're working on that have similarities, you can start really helping to set some expectations for what is possible and compare that across all your other clients to kind of pinpoint what the biggest opportunities are maybe on the traffic side to increase traffic, and what some of the biggest opportunities are on the conversion side. How are the clicks behaving once they get there? How are the people going through the website and shopping? So again, we're pretending that we're in the auto industry today. And one of the things that I think is incredibly important is as you're pinpointing an industry, or if you're focusing on a niche that, again, the more data you have within any specific industry you're working on in mass, the more data you have, and the more decisions you can make, and lessons you can learn. So we like to pay a close attention to what's happening within the automotive industry in terms of how are they spending their money across all of these different channels. Because a lot of people look at digital marketing as a much bigger group of what's the word? They combine a whole lot of things in a digital marketing that doesn't necessarily make sense to combine all together. So you can see, this is from NADA, the National Auto Dealers Association. They have internet advertising is 55% of total advertising spend, but direct mail, TV, radio, thank you. That's a lot better, I think. So more than half of the budget, but they lump internet together. So internet could mean SEO, it could mean your website, it could mean Facebook, it could mean spend on Car Gurus or Auto Trader, all those kind of things. But what's been interesting about this, and really many other small and medium-sized industries, is just 1 year before, internet was 33%. So there's like a major shift that's happening now in a lot of different industries where people are finally saying, this is where we should be spending our marketing dollars. This is where we should be investing our money to create more success, right? So again, you look at that, 55%, but they're still spending about the same amount of money. If you look at their annual spend, about $600,000 per dealership, which means that they're spending $629 for every vehicle that's being sold. And so what's not happening, even though that we are being a lot more wise and investing more into the intent kind of funnels that we can create with internet marketing, with digital marketing, we're not being very efficient in most of these different small industries in how we're creating success and sales through these different efforts. But who is getting to be a whole lot more efficient is the consumer, because the consumer is now going online and doing their homework and showing up in a lot of the areas that we have the opportunity in SEO to say, what are they searching for? How are they finding out or making their decisions on how to buy? How do they know how much they should spend? And if we can understand what's happening with how they're searching and why they're spent, like, so new cars, 2010, 4.5% gross margin was created back in 2010. It's down to 2.5%. There's a misconception in the auto industry that if you go buy a new car, you're gonna, get screwed or whatever and pay way more than you should. And that just doesn't happen because consumers know how much they should spend now because all this information is readily available. So why are consumers being so smart, but a lot of businesses are not being as smart as they should be in creating the content and leveraging the opportunities to be that much more targeted and speak directly to the intent of the different searches that are happening online. And I think one of the reasons that happens, as I make each transition, I'm going to take a sip too. I think one of the reasons that happens is because there's a lot of folks out there that are still talking about traditional media versus digital media. How much should I spend on traditional marketing? Should it be 40%? Should it be 50%? You can look at the National Auto Dealer Association, which is the biggest group in the auto industry, as an example, that still puts internet as its own separate section. So now it's spending 55% digital, and they're lumping that into, well, we need to spend 40% on TV and radio and traditional channels is 60%, but the challenge that we like to recommend when we're talking to different prospects and small businesses is let's think a little bit differently about what the purpose is behind each of those channels, right? Because traditional media is not the same kind of purpose as SEO and SEM. So we like to recommend dumping our marketing efforts into two different types. There's people who are in the market ready to buy right now, raising their hand saying in Google, hey, I want to buy new set of golf clubs. Those are intent people. They have an intent to buy. So that's where we focus on our website and conversion on the website and SEO and SEM and trying to satisfy the intent of those searches. Third-party websites in the auto industry where it's things like autotradingcars.com, they're going to shop with a purpose to buy, or even some of the audiences you create on different social media channels. But on stimulus, that's where it's like these are people who aren't ready to buy, but might be ready to buy. And so that's also a funnel where social media, you can be a little more targeted. You can be focused geographically, demographically within customer databases to reignite the fire. Again, programmatic channels where you have a lot of those targeting options, and that goes up to where some of those traditional channels are hitting the masses. And there's a time and a place for those also where, if you're trying to blanket a market with a message, just consider frequency and consider the fact that there's 10,000 different ads every single month that everyone sees. People recognize about 5,000. I think that was an eMarketer study that was done a couple years ago, but people see 10,000 different ads. So if you're buying a lot of traditional media and having like a frequency of 3 or 4, what's that going to do compared to 10,000, right?
So there's a significant difference between the manufacturer and then the dealer. Are we targeting right here specifically the dealers?
Yes. So and again, I guess when we're talking about putting our automotive hats on or